Good kill, good kill.
Hey, good kill.
So I thought today we could have a look at the upgraded Chinese aircraft. We have, we'll do a little series on that. I think it'd be pretty cool to do something like that. We're gonna have the upgraded Chinese flankers. Well, they claim it's upgraded. I don't really know if it is. It's got Chinese avionics, supposedly supposed to be a step up from Russian avionics. And they got their own missiles, of course. We have the export variant SD10, we have the PL12, the PL15, the PL10, so all kinds of interesting missiles here. But for the most part, I mean, this is, in my opinion, one of the major things that DCS is kind of missing right now, is the modernized flankers that represent a peer-to-peer level engagement in these exact situations. Like F-15s taking on flankers, it should be, you know, modernized Chinese flankers, Russian flankers, even if it's AI, especially since ED has done such massive improvements to the AI, where it honestly does feel like you're fighting a real person. I've fought people that aren't as good as the AI, quite frankly. So this AI is a huge step forward, and modernized flankers would really bring that all together, I think. And really, I mean, we did a video yesterday with Longshot where we fought some F-15s. And, you know, I say this like completely seriously. The AI has made leaps and bounds forward in terms of their understanding of BVR. And what's really encouraging about that is that it's ED's first iteration of it. So I'd like to see version, you know, 2, 3, once they've really cleaned it up the way they like it, put some finishing touches on it, but it's really good right now, man. I'm super impressed by it. And here we are climbing through 40,000 feet here. For those of you new to the channel, welcome. Many of you have joined in the last month or so. If you're new to the concepts of BVR, I'm going to really break them down in TAC view, so stick around for that, the second half of the video. As of right now, we're climbing to the thinner air in order to reduce the friction on our missiles, the air density, of course. We're going to fire this missile, and then we're not going to hang out up here, because once my missile is in the air, me hanging out up here just means I'm an easy target to get hit by his missile. So generally how it works in these BVR engagements is you come up high, you fire a missile, and then you crank and defend. I'll also put a video pinned in the pinned comment below where it's more of a basics video that goes over the concepts of cranking and that kind of stuff. Mars and, you know, Fox 1, Fox 2, Fox 3, all that kind of stuff. 1 circle, 2 circle. I'll put a video pinned for that kind of stuff below as well. But this one, and I'm just going to hang out up here until I find him. Should be popping up, hopefully. Oh, there he is. Got him. Alright. Fox 3. So now we begin the crank. This is a maneuver that you dive into denser air. You offset the missile by putting the bandit on the gimbal limit of your radar, thereby providing guidance information to your missile, but also defending at the same time. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and crank. I was gonna recommit. I was like, I could probably get another missile off, but I don't want to get super greedy. So you're going to put him on the gimbal limit of your radar. You're going to hold him there, and then you're going to respect the MAR. Now the MAR with these modernized flankers, I'm going to treat the PL12 kind of like an AMRAM. So the MAR is probably going to be about 30 miles. That's, of course, if he fired from way up there. I think the one advantage the Eagle may have on the modernized Chinese flankers is range still. I should still have a better radar, and supposedly the AMRAM is more capable. So I don't know if he's fired a missile, but he should be struggling with that last AMRAM I tossed at him. It was a pretty decent launch. There you go on RWR. He's recommitted now, the flanker, so he's still alive. I'm going to go ahead and turn around and point the nose at him. See if we can find him. There he is. Got him locked here. 25 miles. Just going to go ahead and climb. Make the engagement parameters a little bit better. $20 miles. $19, $18, $17. Okay, that's good. Fox 3, and we're defending. Because, oh, there it is. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm almost certain that he's got a missile in the air. Okay, so we are now going cold. And I'm fairly confident that I'm safe from that missile. I'll pull up and recommit here. And he's also defending my missile. He should be having some trouble of his own. Okay, this guy is still committed on me, nose hot. A very aggressive flanker. I'm searching here for him. Just getting a little nervous. There it is. There he is. Fox 3, and we gotta defend immediately. He's pushing. This guy's trying to push into the MAR here. A little bit of over-G there, but it's better than being dead. And I'm tremendously fast. Speed is life in a BVR fight. I don't see any splashes, so that's not good. I was hoping to look back and see a kill. Still got a missile chasing me. If he managed to terrain mask against the last missile I shot at him, that might mean that he is currently nose hot. And that I'm about to get jumped by a flanker. I don't like that. Oh. That's exactly what happened. All right, guys, we'll do our quick little TAC view review here now. So I'm going to be going over some of the basic concepts for some of the newer people. If you want a more in-depth discussion about some of the concepts here, again, check out that pinned comment that I'm going to put below. So basically what you see here is we're climbing, and this is right around where the first missile is fired right there from me. So as discussed in the video, the concept here is that you're flying into thinner air. We're going to get rid of these labels here. You're flying into thinner air with the objective of creating less friction for your missile. So you're flying higher, you're throwing that missile, and then you're getting out of the thin air, because again, if you just hang out here, what's going to happen is you're making it easier for his missile to come and hit you, right? So I'm going to stay connected on me here. And so what we have is the missile being fired. You see me reducing my altitude, dragging any incoming missiles into denser air. And again, you don't always have an RWR warning. But he's not going to have one for the missile I just fired. This was fired in track while scan and TWS or TWIS, whatever you want to call it. That missile will not give him a RWR notification until it goes pitbull in the terminal phase. When it switches to his own radar, that's when he'll start to get the beep, 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 like a missile incoming at him, right? He needs to make assumptions that missiles have been fired at him, as do I. That's basically what I'm doing here. This is why I'm defending. Even though I don't have an RWR tone telling me there's a missile fired at me, I have to pretend, I have to assume that one has been fired, right? You always want to consider worst case scenario, right? Defend the worst case scenario and you'll always survive. That's theoretically the concept there. And so what happens is, this is the crank, by the way. So we have an offset. A crank implies illuminating the bandit at gimbal limits of your radar. So your radar dish right now is looking like this, and it's looking at the bandit, and it's providing guidance information to your missile, which is trying to hit him, right? That's what's happening here. And what you're doing is, so first you're reducing altitude, which means any incoming missile, there isn't one, but if there was, you would be dragging that missile into dense air, and also you're forcing that missile to turn. Missiles have finite energy. It's not like the movies, you know, where they just have infinite burn and they miss and they go and they come around. It's not like that. They have they have a finite fuel which burns, and then once that burn is gone, that missile has the kinetic energy it has as all it has, right? So your job is to bleed off that kinetic energy. And a really good way of doing that is forcing the missile to turn. Every time it turns, it increases the drag, the friction, and you know, the energy starts to go off, dissipate. So one of the things you can do is drag it into denser air and also force it to turn at the same time, hence the concept of the crank. Now here I didn't really go straight for the crank. I went low and then I started cranking. You could start cranking from here, reducing altitude and, you know, cranking to the gimbal limit of your radar so that you can continue to illuminate your bandit. Okay. We'll continue here. Now the AI has not engaged me at this point. He probably doesn't feel like his PL-12s can reach out and touch me at this distance. Throw the labels back on here. And so I have the advantage there, but I couldn't really push it because I couldn't make that assumption, you know, that he didn't understand. But look at what the AI does here. He's intelligent. He knows. And again, guys, I gotta tell you, I'm so happy that the AI was upgraded like this. I'm telling you, these things are dangerous now. I've been waiting for this kind of upgrade for so long. So this guy actually realizes that the missile was fired from a pretty, you know, significant distance. Yes, it was a dangerous missile, but he didn't have a tremendously hard time defeating that AMRAAM. Yes, it's Mach 2, but you know, he knows that at those distances, all he has to do is dive and he can defeat it. And he uses chaff correctly. This is the other thing, right? As he dives and he's sort of perpendicular to the missile, he drops the chaff. In the past, they would just drop chaff here, which does nothing, basically. And you can see as they do this defensive maneuver, it actually does go for the chaff. So this missile bites off on chaff because he's intelligent. Once he realizes he's defeated that missile, he just goes nose hot. There's no need for him to go cold and all this other stuff. He just comes nose hot. This is aggressive behavior, of course. He can fly more defensively if he wanted to, but there are rewards for flying this aggressively as well. High risk, high reward, right? So once again, I am all the way out here. We're at 15 miles now. I fire another Fox 3 and I start to defend. Now we also have to talk about the MAR. This is the minimum abort range. MAR. Okay. Again, you want more detail on this. It's going to be in that video I'm going to pin down below. You can have a look there. The MAR basically means that if I turn cold at this point, I will be able to go cold and I'll be able to outrun the missile. I'll be able to get away from it. If I'm inside the MAR, the only way to defeat the missile is to decoy the missile. That's when you need your chaff. So I've gone cold, so I feel fairly confident that I'm going to survive whatever missile is fired at me. He is now forced to defend as well. He has gone sort of perpendicular and he's dropping chaff, but not enough to confuse the missile. And I don't want to make it sound like he went for a notch. It kind of seems like he tried to crank it or something. And here he is now turning into the missile and diving away. Very, very dangerous defensive maneuver here from the AI. Dare I say he should be dead right now. 95 feet, that missile. The AMRAAMs are kind of missing in weird ways recently. A lot of AMRAAMs have gone by targets missing by 100 feet. I'm not really sure what's going on, if that's some sort of desync issue or what it is. But they're missing very narrowly right in the end there. So he's now recommitted. He fires another Fox 3. And there's my Fox 3. And as you can see, we are inside the MAR at about 7 miles. That missile misses, goes for my chaff, and my missile just goes straight up. And the AI, look at how aggressive this guy is. Like, he doesn't waste any time being defensive. He just drives for the kill. I hold my defensive, you know, I don't know, like going cold thing. I hold it for a couple of seconds extra here. And quite frankly, that's exactly what gets me killed. And this is how aggressive and dangerous the AI has become. I'm sure many of you have realized, but we just lost a BVR fight to an AI. That almost never happened ever since I understood how to do BVR. I've almost never lost to AI before. It's very, very rare, or like I have to make a critical mistake. This was not a critical mistake. I just held I just held it a little bit, a few seconds too long just to be safe. And that is all that made the difference. The AI already pushed me and he killed me. That's it. It's very, very good behavior from the AI. It's a dramatic improvement. Alright guys, that's going to be the video for today. Thank you for watching, and a big thank you to ED for upgrading this AI, making it so good. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.